powerful protection from COVID-19 or really any respiratory issue in any flu-like virus. For those of you who don't know, I'd like to say that everything I'm going to tell you today is from the perspective of the Buteyko Method. And Dr. Konstantin Buteyko was a Russian and Ukrainian physiologist who in 1952 made an incredible discovery. He found out that we, modern people, don't breathe the same way as our ancestors did. The reason for it was, and still is, that our lifestyle is very different compared to our ancestors. Our lifestyle is based on comfort, overconsumption of many things, and for many people it's also quite sedentary. Breathing patterns are the result of the lifestyle. Because our lifestyle is so different compared to our ancestors, our breathing patterns are different as well. In short, almost all modern people overbreathe to a certain degree. What does it mean, overbreathe? It means that we consume too much air every minute, much more than our bodies need. The problem with it is that it greatly lowers and weakens our immunity, and also it lowers the level of carbon dioxide in the lungs, which Dr. Buteyko called the main regulator for all bodily functions. Even though Dr. Buteyko was known mostly as a medical doctor, in the last part of his life, he called himself a philosopher. And his main focus was the survival of mankind. He made many predictions about what's going to happen, and what we are observing now is actually what he was talking about many years ago. He predicted that we will have natural catastrophes, but also we will experience very serious, very frightening viruses, and they will kill a lot of people. So what we see now, it's not necessarily just one virus. We could have many other viruses as well. Dr. Buteyko stated that the mankind basically could become extinct not because of an atomic bomb, but because of how we treat the environment, how we poison our environment, and what happens to our immunity, and how vulnerable we will become to various viruses. Dr. Buteyko created a method which allows us to increase, to boost our immunity tremendously, and also increase and boost, strengthen, better to say, our respiratory system. This is really the most important thing during these challenging times. And that's why Dr. Buteyko was concerned about survival of all human beings, because he realized that due to our lifestyle, immunity, the immune system of most people became very weak, and we become vulnerable, facing various viruses. And those viruses will appear as a result of misbalance created in nature. I was listening this morning, I was listening to a talk by a doctor in Korea, where the situation regarding the virus is actually the best right now. It's more or less under control. And as many other doctors, and as Dr. Buteyko, in fact, he was saying that the only protection against this virus is a strong immune system. Apparently 20% of people who are infected don't experience any symptoms at all. So which means that the virus is not harmful for anyone, for everyone, but only for those people whose immune system is weak. And doctors and scientists are still trying to figure out why the virus becomes so dangerous for elderly people. But also they say that it's not only elderly people, there is also young people and middle-aged people who get infected and die from the virus. Well, why? Why is it happening this way? It's mostly because of the weak immune system. And that's what Dr. Buteyko said, that people's immune system became very weak. And unless we know how to keep it strong, we could become victims of various viruses. So the first thing, actually, the first step here is to be able to evaluate what's going on with your immune system. Is it weak? Is it strong? And also, whatever you are doing regarding strengthening your immune system, is it effective or not? Many people are a little kind of like blind. They're trying to do anything they know to improve the immune system, but they really don't know whether it's working or not. So Dr. Buteyko left us an incredible, very precious tool to evaluate all of this. He found out that we could evaluate what's going on with our immune system by evaluating our breathing, by measuring a so-called control pulse. And I will explain how to measure your control pulse. It's very simple. First, you inhale. You inhale what I call in an invisible way. It means that nothing in your body indicates that you are inhaling. It's not this way. It's this way. So you inhale and then you exhale. You keep your mouth completely closed and you block your nose and stop breathing for a few seconds. And you need to count for how many seconds you are comfortable not to breathe. So when you open your nose again, you should be able to inhale through your nose gently. So it shouldn't look like this or this. Those are mistakes. This means if something like that happens, it means that you're not doing it correctly. So it suggests to try to do it now. Simply inhale, exhale, block your nose, wait until you want to breathe again, and open your nose. Count the seconds you are comfortable not to breathe. Dr. Buteyko gave us a way to evaluate what those numbers mean. If a person is very healthy at the level of optimal health, then this person should be comfortable not to breathe for 60 seconds, 1 minute. If a person is comfortable not to breathe for 40 seconds, it's also good. It's the lowest level of the norm. If a person is comfortable not to breathe for 20-25 seconds, that's a level which I call semi-healthy, semi-ill. It means that your immune system is not very strong, but it's also not very weak, which is good. So this person is still at risk. And if your control pause is below 10 seconds, then it means that your immune system is quite weak right now, and you need to be extremely careful. And also, you need to do anything you can to strengthen your immune system. So we have that control pause, it's our reference point. In this situation, you need to do anything you can to increase your control pause. And again, fortunately, you have this tool. So every day at home, you can measure your control pause and evaluate what's going on with you. If you feel very stressed, as many people are right now, your control pause will be down quite a bit. And this means that you need to relax, you need to do other things, and I explain what to do in order to increase your control pause. But your control pause, which indicates the level of carbon dioxide in the lungs, is your health currency right now. And you need to become CO2 rich in order to survive this situation and to prevent being infected with the virus, or to recover successfully. So, and the method which Dr. Buteyko left us allows us to become CO2 rich. To become CO2 rich, you need to generate carbon dioxide as much as possible, and also prevent the situations when you lose a lot of carbon dioxide. And I will talk about it. I know that for those people who are not familiar with the Buteyko method, this might be a bit complicated, but I'll try my best today to explain it all. But I'd like to mention that if you'd like to know about the Buteyko method, there are a lot of resources available on our website, breathingcenter.com. I'm going to show you some. This is the book, Breathe to Heal. And it's really like a manual how to survive coronavirus right now. You can also download this CD for free on our website. And there are DVDs available, and also breathing normalization meditations, which you can do on your own. So for some people, it might be difficult to understand why CO2 is important. Again, Dr. Buteyko called it the main regulator of the bodily, of all bodily functions. Most modern people experience the deficit of CO2 in their lungs. You can think about CO2 as your immunity. You can think about CO2 as your vital energy. And also, you can think about it, if you're a yoga practitioner, you could think about it as prana. When the level of CO2 in the lungs becomes 0, a person dies. The higher the level is, more energy, more vitality, more health a person has. So I believe that this virus is like a wake-up call for all of us. And it's a wonderful reminder how important it is to breathe in a healthy way, how important it is to have a strong immune and nervous system, And if you were too busy before working on these areas, now you probably have enough time to start putting your energy into making yourself stronger and healthier. There are two ways to become CO2 rich, to achieve a level of optimal health. The first one is to start breathing in a healthy way. But what does it mean? Some people know how unhealthy breathing looks like, but very few people know how healthy breathing looks like, right? Unhealthy breathing might be like this. And maybe like this, and so on. But healthy breathing is actually invisible. So when we practice the Buteyko method, we actually imitate healthy breathing, and this makes our respiratory system much stronger. It's almost like if a person has a really bad posture, and this person starts imitating good posture all the time, his posture will improve tremendously. So it's the same with breathing. The first step to start strengthening your respiratory system and through it your immune system is by practicing healthy breathing. So what are the characteristics of healthy breathing? The first one is breathing through the nose all the time. We as human, it's natural for us as human breathing or as human being to breathe through the nose only. Because breathing is so important, we were given the second function to breathe, second option to breathe through the mouth. However, this second option should be used in emergency situations only. So if you need to run away from a predator, breathe through your mouth, that's totally fine. But all other times you need to breathe through your nose and to breathe peacefully, because when you breathe through your mouth, your whole body receives a signal that the life is stressful, something really dangerous going on. On top of it, our nose is the organ which prepares the air for our consumption. One of the functions which the nose does is it greatly disinfects the air. Many microbes and even viruses get killed on the mucous membrane of the nose. Also, when we breathe through the nose, we don't take in much air. When you breathe through the mouth, it's a huge stream of unfiltered air going on right into your lungs. So the risk of getting any kind of a lung-related disease becomes much greater. So the first thing for you to protect yourself from the virus is to start breathing through your nose and quietly all the time. What does it mean all the time? It literally means 100%. There are no exceptions. So many people, when they sleep, they breathe through their mouth, and because of that, they overbreathe, they hyperventilate to a very high degree, which reduces the level of carbon dioxide in the lungs. Because in order to increase the level of carbon dioxide, we need to breathe less, actually. We need to breathe in a healthy way. So if a person is asleep and he or she is breathing like this, which many people do, this person is just totally wasting carbon dioxide, wasting his vital energy, making himself, making the possibility of getting infected higher and higher and higher. So it's really important to establish nasal breathing at night. And we recommend using gentle medical tape to do that. You could just start using a very little piece of tape, putting it on your lips like this at night, and that will help you to maintain nasal breathing. This tape is not dangerous because if you really need to open your mouth, you can still do that. You see? So it mostly acts as a reminder to breathe through the nose at night. And again, there is a lot of information on this topic available on Breathing Center website. If you go to the section, my blog section, you will find quite a few articles with the instructions of what to do at night in order to establish peaceful nasal breathing. The other thing is that you have to start breathing through your nose during the day. And that really is based on mindfulness. So you need to notice how you breathe. And if your mouth is open sometimes, if you're maybe walking at home doing this, you have to stop. Have to stop right away and switch to gentle nasal breathing. Many people breathe through the mouth when they exercise. Well, right now, the goal of exercises should be anyway, to become completely healthy, to increase our vitality. To do this, it's essential to breathe through the nose only. So let's say if you are running or jumping, right? And at a certain point you feel like, oh, I cannot breathe through my nose anymore. I have to open my mouth. That means that you are doing too much for your respiratory system right now. And in order to start improving, strengthening your respiratory system instead of weakening it further, you need to slow down, or you need to stop and start breathing through your nose only. The other thing is that if you are exercising, at the same time you can measure your control pause. Even when you run, you could still measure your control pause. It never should be less than 5 seconds. If it's less than 5 seconds, you're overbreathing, you're losing carbon dioxide, you're actually injuring your health, overall health, instead of strengthening it. For many people, it's quite challenging to walk on the stairs, especially to walk upstairs. They experience breathing difficulties, they often feel breathless. You can turn a staircase into your breathing improvement tool by applying those simple tools which I offered to you. Breathe through your nose, breathe quietly. And if you can, just stop even for a few seconds. Usually it's, for most people, it's enough. Relax a little bit, normalize your breathing, and then continue walking. That will help a lot. So, and also it's absolutely essential to inhale through your nose when you talk. talking for most people is a very, very significant source of overbreathing or hyperventilation. Why? Because people get very engaged in conversations. They sometimes they get very excited and they start breathing excessively, inhaling through their mouth. So right now, I'm sure that some people are talking this way. Have you heard what's happening about do you know what's happening in New York? It's just awful. And it is, yes, I know it. Yeah, I feel so bad about it, and so on. So this type of breathing has a negative effect, huge negative effect for everyone involved. First of all, it's active mouth breathing. If you're close to a person, then whatever this person is breathing out, you are taking in, and it goes, there is not disinfected because it's not through the nose, and it goes right into your lungs. So the risk is huge. On top of it, because you are over-breathing, you are losing your carbon dioxide, you are becoming carbon dioxide poor, and you are really weakening your immunity. So it's essential to learn how to inhale through your nose while talking, and to do it gently and peacefully. Again, on our website, you will find a lot of information on how to do it. And speaking about this, I also would like to mention that that in some ways breathing is contagious. Well, right now we all hear that, you know, it might be contagious because virus could be in the air, but that's not what I mean right now. What I mean is that breathing patterns are contagious to a certain degree. I just demonstrated to you kind of an anxious way of talking, you know, inhaling excessively through the mouth. Well, imagine that you are in a room where with a person who talks like this, as I demonstrated, for maybe 15 or for 15 minutes. You will feel, first of all, extremely tired because you will start losing carbon dioxide together with that person who is breathing excessively while talking, but also because this person's breathing patterns will affect you. So if that person has anxiety, he's breathing very fast, very shallow, and he is over-breathing. And after talking for a while with this person, you will find out that your breathing changed too, that it became faster. It also became more anxiety-like. So in this situation with coronavirus, we really need to take 100% responsibility for our own breathing, for our own sake and for the sake of all others. It's not only how other people breathe affects you, it also affects others if you overbreathe. So it's absolutely essential to establish non-stressful, very peaceful, gentle breathing, which will help everyone. Okay? So the Buteyko method is really a holistic method, meaning that it helps all of us as whole, as one organism. Another thing that coronavirus brought in our lives is awareness of how interconnected we are, how we all are connected. First of all, we are connected through the air. We are also connected through how we breathe. So start making your breathing more peaceful, more enjoyable, to improve your own health, to protect yourself, and to protect all others as well. So healthy breathing is always breathing through the nose and breathing quietly. Start breathing through your nose all the time. The second characteristic of healthy breathing is invisible breathing. Invisible breathing means that nothing in your body moves when you breathe because of breathing. So you are not breathing this way. You are not breathing this way. And you are not breathing in a way that your belly moves a lot. If you are breathing in this way, then you need to relax a little bit and try to reduce the movements of your body, which happen because of breathing. Now, what's really important for people to know right now is that the level of anxiety is very high, and because of that, many people breathe in a way when the chest moves a lot. This breathing pattern, shallow, fast breathing when the chest moves a lot, supports anxiety. So when you are anxious, you breathe like that, but also if you breathe like that, you will become anxious. So if chest breathing is present, you need to start practicing gentle belly breathing. So you could put your hand, one hand on your chest and another one on your belly, and try to breathe in a way when your chest doesn't move at all and your belly moves a little bit with every breath. You inhale and your belly slightly expands. You exhale and your belly slightly becomes pulled in. And I'll hopefully, will have my time to do some exercises with you today. So breathing in an invisible way, Dr. Buteyko called breathing like a little mouse. And he would say to his patients, for example, people who had asthma, imagine that it's a big monstrous cat hiding. Imagine that there is a big monstrous cat hiding behind the curtains. And the cat is always watching you. And at that time, he would say, the name of this cat is asthma. Well, today I would say that the name of that big monstrous cat is coronavirus. So coronavirus is always watching you, and it's watching how you breathe. If this cat sees your breathing, what does it mean? It means that you're breathing through the mouth, or you're breathing like this, then this cat, coronavirus, will jump and catch you and eat you alive. That's what Dr. Buteyko was saying. Or if the cat can hear you breathing, the same will happen. So you need to breathe like a little mouse, very quietly, in an invisible way. Okay? And this is a type of breathing which right now we need to practice all the time. So this is a perfect image Dr. Buteyko gave us. Always imagine the disease, which is wherever you go, it follows you. and it's watching your breathing. For as long as you are breathing quietly, you are breathing in an invisible way, you are completely protected. The cat will never be able to catch you. And the last characteristic of healthy breathing is that breathing stops for a few seconds after every exhale. Most people whose respiratory and immune systems are not very strong breathe in this way. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, and so on. There is no stop in between exhales and inhales. Dr. Buteyko called those stops automatic pause. So he found out that healthy people breathe similar to wild animals. Their breathing pattern is different. It's like this. In, out, stop. Breathing naturally stops. In, out, a pause. Okay. So here we are supposed to imitate healthy breathing. And one of the ways to do it is to start imitating the automatic pause. How do you do it? It's very simple. You inhale in an invisible way, you exhale in an invisible way, and you simply stop your breathing for a few seconds, for a truly comfortable time for you. So for one person, it could be 1 second. For another person, it could be 5 seconds and more. Whatever is really comfortable. I want to emphasize that the Buteyko breathing method is not a torture. So whatever you do within this method should be slightly challenging, but still pleasant, still bearable, still okay. We want to be healthy, but what is health? Health is basically the balance in our bodies, in our inner environment. Balance is peace. So we are trying to achieve peace with all elements, peace and harmony with all elements in our inner environment. We cannot achieve peace and balance with stress and violence towards our own bodies. So whatever you do with your breathing, it should be pleasant, it should be more kind of slightly challenging, but mild. So never push your breathing, and always respect the current limitations of your breathing. If you respect those current limitations, your breathing will become stronger and stronger. So you need to start, in order to become CO2 rich, you need to start practicing those gentle breath holds. We call it breath holds after exhales. So whenever you remember about it, inhale, exhale, stop your breathing, just for a few seconds. Many people are at home now, many people spend time watching TV or maybe reading books. It's a perfect time to practice gentle breath holds. In the Buteyko Clinic in Moscow, they recommend doing this, practicing short breath holds between 500 and 1,000 times a day in order to boost your immunity, in order to accelerate the process of strengthening your overall health. Of course, it's very difficult to count exactly, how many times did you do a short breath hold a day. But basically, those numbers mean that you should do it a lot. Almost definitely quite a few times every hour. So breathing through the nose, breathing in an invisible way, breathing like a little mouse, taking in only as much as you need, and doing a lot of breath holds will help right now a lot. And right now I would like to talk about a few very simple, in this case, breathing exercises, which could help people tremendously right now. And then I would like to say a few things about lifestyle modifications, which also will help you to increase your vitality. So breathing exercises, well, I already kind of talked about some, invisible breathing and so on. But there is another wonderful exercise which everyone can do, and that helps tremendously. This exercise is humming. It's very simple. You always inhale through your nose, and then you make a sound on exhalation. So it could look like this. And so on. When you do this, it actually creates like a cleansing for our lungs, but which is but something is much more important, is that by doing humming, you are extending your exhalation, and because of that, you are reducing your air intake, because you start breathing less while doing humming. The level of carbon dioxide, your vitality goes up, and it's measurable. So you might want to sit down, measure your control pose, then do 5-10 minutes of humming if you can, and measure your control pose again. If humming was done correctly, your control pose definitely will increase. And when you know that humming increases your control pose, you can start doing it everywhere. For example, you're, chopping vegetables, preparing dinner. So you start doing this, and so on. Please teach your children to do humming. It also will help them a lot. When I work with little children, I usually ask them to create some drawings and accompany every line with the sound of humming. So they start making drawings like this. And in this case, a simple act of drawing, creating a picture, starts acting as a breathing improvement tool, and also as a tool which boosts the immunity and improves their overall health. So I really think that for these times, humming is probably the best exercise, breathing exercise to increase the level of carbon dioxide. Also, humming helps a lot with anxiety. So if you feel very anxious, imagine that your anxiety is your child and you are his or her mother. And you are trying to make this child to feel better, but finding the right melody, by finding the melody which helps this child to feel more peaceful, to feel safe. So start doing this type of humming, which helps you to feel better, to makes you to feel more peaceful and safe. For some people, it might be very quiet type of humming, like this. You'll find the tone or the melody which works for you and practice it as much as possible. Another wonderful and a very simple breathing exercise which helps to increase the level of carbon dioxide is breathing through one nostril. Again, you are sitting and watching TV. Gently block one nostril and start breathing through another one, again in an invisible way, and make sure that your breathing is quiet. Sometimes people do this exercise, but they actually increase the volume of air coming into their bodies, which makes this exercise counterproductive. So if you're breathing like this, you're actually losing your carbon dioxide. So by blocking one nostril, you need to make sure that you reduce your air intake by half, basically. And you need to combine this exercise with relaxation. So you block your nostril and you imagine that with every breath, your body is becoming more and more relaxed. You're feeling better and you're able to breathe less, not more. So you might want to practice it for 1 minute, then take a little break, and then block another nostril and do the same thing. You know, for some people it might sound even unbelievable that simple things like this improve our immunity, but they do. People who practice the Buteyko method seriously usually don't have any respiratory issues whatsoever. I don't quite remember when last time I had a cold or a flu. It probably was about 7 years ago or so. But at that time, I was already practicing Buteyko method, and I actually remember that once it was a really bad flu and a lot of people around me were ill for several weeks. And also at that time, I worked in person with people who were ill. So I caught that flu, and I also became ill, but only for 2 days. And it was a very, very light disease. And that's exactly what happens. And Dr. Buteyko described that. So whether a person doesn't become ill at all, or a person might catch an infection, which is not a bad thing because it helps us to to develop immunity against that infection. But the symptoms become very, very light. So it works very well. And in Soviet Union, there were quite a few clinical studies regarding the Buteyko method. And they stated that this method totally stops all respiratory issues. And COVID-19 is a respiratory issue. So it is your protection. And I'm going to show you another very simple breathing exercise. Anyone can do it, and it's also very effective. You just pick up a bottle of any essential oil you have, because during these challenging times, essential oil which help you to become calmer is preferable. You open it and you smell it, and you should smell that the smell is very, very strong, kind of pleasant, it's enjoyable, but also could be overwhelming. So you use a bottle of essential oil to train yourself to breathe like our ancestors did, to take in very little air, to take in only what your body needs and not more. So you start inhaling it in an invisible way, very carefully, giving this process your full focus and attention. You are taking in only as much air as your body needs and not more. And if you are taking more than you need, it might feel a bit overwhelming. So, and you need to make a reference point out of it, meaning remember how you breathe during this exercise and try to breathe this way all the time. There are some recordings of my breathing normalization meditations. They're available on our website, but also they're available for free on YouTube. And they help people to understand how to breathe, how to practice reduced breathing, and at the same time combine it with relaxation. So every meditation is about 10 minutes, I believe. You might want to start listening to them and practicing the Buteyko method that way. Also keep in mind that relaxation always increases the level of carbon dioxide, and stress and tension always decrease it. So by even doing a simple relaxation technique, you are improving your respiratory system and you are gaining more carbon dioxide. And now I'm going to say a few things about the lifestyle and how to modify it, and then I'll be glad to answer your questions. So Dr. Buteyko determined that certain aspects of our lifestyle could help us to increase the level of carbon dioxide. What are they? First of all, it's physical activities which generate carbon dioxide on the cellular level. 1 second. So right now, many people are locked at home and they stop going to their gyms or maybe walking outside. They stopped exercising. Well, that means that they stop or greatly reduce their production of carbon dioxide, their vital energy. And it's really important to continue exercising. And of course, as I already said, any physical exercises should be combined with nasal breathing and preferably quiet breathing. So there are so many programs on YouTube which you can do, doing gentle yoga or all kinds of exercises which you can do at home. And I would like to encourage everyone to start doing mild physical exercises as much as possible, because that's one of the ways to keep ourselves being protected from COVID-19. Other things which help is to eat less. Some elements of fasting usually increase the level of carbon dioxide as well. So try not to eat in between meals. Maybe try to have smaller meals if you normally have rather large ones. And also try to eat less of animal products. Dairy products and all animal-based products usually don't help us to generate carbon dioxide. In fact, we often lose carbon dioxide as a result of eating those products. The best diet to keep carbon dioxide on the highest possible level is to eat, again, only what your body needs, not what you want. To eat moderately, to eat, of course, a lot of fresh fruit, raw food, and not to eat animal products, or to eat them as little as possible. And another aspect of the lifestyle which helps tremendously to generate carbon dioxide and stay calm is spirituality. Spirituality is a very big part of the Buteyko Method, and a wonderful way to improve our overall health. Dr. Buteyko discovered that all kinds of spiritual traditions and rituals all over the world, if they simply combined with quiet nasal breathing, they increase the level of carbon dioxide. They literally make us healthier. So if you meditate, for example, then start measuring your carbon dioxide before your session of meditation and after. And most likely you will find out that your meditation increases your level of carbon dioxide. It makes you healthier in a way, it makes you more CO2 rich, it increases your vitality. If it's the case, that's great. Then your meditation is your breathing exercise. Make sure that you meditate every day, increasing your level of carbon dioxide. Maybe some people pray or chant, and if so, I suggest measuring your control pose before and after. If you breathe through your mouth actively while doing those things, most likely you will notice that your carbon dioxide would go down. But if you simply breathe through your nose while chanting or praying, you will notice that the level of carbon dioxide will go up tremendously, because all those spiritual rituals and techniques are meant to increase our vitality, are meant to help us to feel better and become healthier. Before, when people use them, because of their lifestyle, They were not breathing through their mouth actively. They were not hyperventilators. And all those spiritual techniques were incredibly effective in order to increase carbon dioxide, increase vitality. And they still work this way if we just breathe in a healthy way. However, when they're combined with active mouth breathing, often they help us on some level. We might feel inspired, or we might feel more peaceful, but they don't necessarily improve our health. So for those of you who have a strong spiritual praxis, you have your protection. It's wonderful that you have it. You just need to use it in the most effective way. So turn all your spiritual practices into your breathing and health improvement tools. And again, if you need more information about it, please visit our website and you will find quite a lot of this information there. And also in the DVD set, there is a whole chapter on that. And the last thing which I'd like to say about the lifestyle, keep in mind that thinking is stronger than breathing. Of course, we affect our thinking by our breathing. Breathing affects thinking, but thinking also affects breathing. So when we breathe gently and peacefully, our breathing becomes more peaceful as well. But right now, many people, of course, are nervous and anxious about the current situation. And because of that, they constantly run negative affirmations in their minds. Like, oh, what happens, if I get infected, or this, or like, I'm not strong enough, I'm not healthy enough, maybe I will be infected. So all of this negatively affects our breathing and often triggers overbreathing or hyperventilation. So right now, it's very important to protect our respiration by practicing positive affirmations. So of course, you need to take care of hygiene, to protect yourself from the virus in a practical way, to avoid crowded or public places, but also start controlling your mind. Try to find a positive affirmation which helps you to breathe more peacefully, more joyfully. Maybe your affirmation is, I'm totally protected from this virus, or I'm very healthy, my immune system is strong. I was thinking about a positive affirmation for myself this morning. And the one I came up with was COVID-19 and I coexist peacefully. So that's what worked for me. But you need to find something which works for you. In general, remember that the virus itself is not dangerous. Not at all, actually. It's only when it becomes in contact with our immune system, it becomes dangerous for us because our immune system is not strong enough. So instead of concentrating on the fear about the virus, start concentrating on how to improve your immune system, how to become healthier. And this virus really gives us an opportunity to do this. It's kind of forces everyone to become healthier. And this is a wonderful thing, because without this virus, many people would keep postponing positive changes in their lives. But now we can't postpone it anymore. We have to do it. So start breathing through your nose. Start breathing quietly. Start breathing in an invisible way. Make sure that you take in only as much air as you need and not more. And more importantly, start to breathe peacefully. Start breathing joyfully, and make sure that your breathing patterns affect your overall health positively, and also they help everyone else around you to breathe better. During these challenging times, I will try to offer as much support to people as possible. I don't know exactly what form it will take. I'm thinking about doing breathing exercises with everyone, maybe once a week. So please visit the community page on our website, and we will post the information there about our meetings. That's all I wanted to say today. I just need to see if there are any questions. And also if we have another specialist with us. Let's just have a 5 minutes break and come back after 5 minutes, and I will answer your questions, and we'll continue then. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm back and I'm ready to answer your questions. I have Q&A section in this webinar. So please place your questions there. And I have questions which already came in front of me. And I'm going to start answering them. The first question is from Lisa. It says, are you saying that breathing through the nose will filter viruses? I thought that virus particles were so small that nose breathing would not protect us, for example, from coronavirus. Well, the first thing is, when we breathe through the nose, we take in less air. So basically, when we breathe through the nose versus breathe through the mouth, we take in less viruses. The other thing is that the nose filters and disinfects the air for us. So many viruses get killed on the mucous membrane of the nose. I'm going to show you an article on my website. And this is my interview with Dr. Novozhilov, who is the Russian patent holder of the Buteyko Method. And he explains exactly how it works and why it's so important to breathe through the nose during a pandemic and why viruses get killed on the mucous membrane of the nose. Now, whether it works with coronavirus or not, I don't really know. No, it might not work this way, but it's still important to breathe through the nose only because in addition to the fact that we take less air and we disinfect the air, it allows us to keep the level of carbon dioxide in the lungs in the highest possible level. It helps us to keep our vitality on the highest possible level as well. So I'm going to the next question now. Question from Patricia. If you find yourself taking a deeper involuntary breath during praxis time, does this indicate that you are breathing too little? It can indicate this because if you kind of restrict your breathing too much, your body might want to compensate for it by taking a deeper, a bigger breath. However, often when people just start practicing reduced peaceful breathing, they have this reaction. And it's because overbreathing in some ways is similar to an addiction. Like if you got used to eating too much and then you put yourself on a diet, your cravings for eating more will be present. So it's the same with breathing. When you start training yourself breathing less, you might feel, a strong urge to breathe more or just to inhale more once. Well, keep in mind that what's important in this method is how we breathe the whole day long within 24 hours. A single breath doesn't make such a big difference. So if you have a really strong craving for taking one big breath, go ahead and do it. But then right away switch to gentle, peaceful nasal breathing. Next question is, how do you know how much air your body needs? It's a great question. most people don't know because they don't breathe mindfully. So part of this method is to determine how much air your body needs. And I showed you an exercise with an essential oil. You could use that one, or you could just simply sit and bring your focus into these two streams of air moving through your nostrils and start playing with them like a child. Pretend that you never breathed before. You're just learning how to breathe. So try to determine how much air is enough. If you take in not enough, you will increase your breathing volume a little bit. It happens, it's fine, but then start inhaling less, and you will be able to understand how much air your body needs. Next question from Patricia. Can increasing your carbon dioxide levels can stop cough that hangs on long after a bout of bronchitis? Absolutely. So I often work with people who have maybe their only one or their main symptom is just chronic cough. And this could be because of various diseases. And I also worked with people who had coronavirus, and they were coughing and coughing and coughing. So all these breathing exercises and lifestyle modifications, which I mentioned, they definitely help to stop cough. And the Buteyko method is known for stopping all kinds of breathing difficulties, and cough is just one of them. The next question. Let's say I tested positive with light symptoms like fever, cough. Can quiet breathing help? Absolutely. Healthy breathing helps with all health issues, and first of all, respiratory issues. The Buteyko method is not a cure for coronavirus or for any other disease. The Buteyko method helps us to become very healthy, to achieve the level of optimal health. And as a result of this, many diseases get stopped, they get eliminated or reduced, and coronavirus is one of them. And it also helps to prevent all kinds of health issues. The next question is, how can we monitor our evolution? Well, we monitor our evolution by our progress, our success in applying the Buteyko method by measuring our control pause, especially in the morning. And if you're applying the Buteyko method successfully, you will notice that your control pause, your level of carbon dioxide in the lungs, starts increasing. And normally, with the control pause increasing, symptoms start decreasing proportionally. Where do I see the community page about possible upcoming exercises? I will show it to you. Just a second. So here is our website. You go here, and here is the community page, and we will start placing the information about upcoming free events here. So please visit it regularly. Okay. Question from Igor. Could you give us some exercises for correct speaking? Of course, I'll be glad to. So the simplest exercise you start doing is you choose a short word or a short syllable or a syllable. I usually choose the syllable om, and you use this syllable to imitate speaking. You inhale invisibly through your nose, and then on exhalation you say om, 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 om. Then you inhale through your nose again, and you say again om, 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 om. And you do it a few times. This exercise helps to become more mindful of your breathing when you talk, and also switch to nasal breathing. And your next step is to pick up a book and start reading aloud, making sure that you're breathing only through your nose. When you start doing it first, you will notice that you have to slow down your speech considerably. But if you practice it for a while, you will be able to speak at your regular, you will be able to keep your regular rhythm or pace. Breathing through your nose while speaking is very important because, again, mouth breathing is very active for most people when they speak. So try your best to switch to nasal breathing and start practicing Buteyko while speaking. Question from Louise. When doing the humming, I noticed that I needed to stop and breathe in. Is this wrong? No, of course it's not wrong. You have to breathe in while humming, but you breathe through your nose, and then you exhale through your nose as well while humming. Then you stop, you inhale through your nose, and then you continue making a sound on exhalation. Message from Miguel. I'm a Buteyko practitioner from Spain. Wonderful. I'm so glad you are here with us. What can you do if you have a deviated septum and one of your nostrils is permanently stuffed? As I said before, overbreathing can be extremely dangerous because it comes with losing our vital energy, our carbon dioxide. The body is very intelligent, and the human body, never wants to die. It always wants to survive. It wants to become healthier. Because of that, it comes up with all kinds of defense mechanisms to make itself breathe less, to increase its level of carbon dioxide. So the body starts doing various tricks to decrease the level of air intake, our level of air intake. The simplest mechanism, defense mechanism against overbreathing, is that when the body starts narrowing all airways by generating mucus, when the nose is greatly stuffed, we cannot take in much air. The same with the throat or the lungs, bronchial tubes. The body also often creates breathlessness as a reaction to overbreathing. That's how it tries to maintain its homeostasis, its own balance. The body creates cough for the same reason. And another thing which the body often can do is to grow polyps. You know, when there are polyps in the nose, it breaks the airflow. It's difficult to breathe. The level of carbon dioxide goes up. And so a deviated septum is the same defense mechanism against overbreathing. Many people who practice the Buteyko method, they're able to overcome this condition, because this condition is a problem only when a person overbreathes. When a person switches to healthy, reduced breathing, this condition for most people is not an issue anymore. Deep breathing, another question. Deep breathing has been associated with stronger lung capacity. It seems that practicing the Buteyko method doesn't do that. Well, the Buteyko method makes people's lungs, people's respiratory system incredibly strong. It helps people like athletes who might already have a significant strong lung capacity, but it also helps people with COPD, with asthma, with chronic bronchitis, and other lung problems. They're actually able to breathe, they're able to make their lungs strong. Okay, another question. There is a question about yawning. It's an interesting question. So many people think that yawning is mouth breathing, and it is. However, Dr. Buteyko taught us that yawning is the only exception from the rule of not breathing through your mouth. If you start doing breathing exercises, often you will feel that you are relaxing, and it often comes with yawning. For a while, you might start yawning more, and Dr. Buteyko always advised, if you feel like yawning, go ahead and yawn. You don't need to suppress your yawning, because yawning actually supports certain healthy gas exchange and kind of a balance of gases in the body. So no need to suppress your yawning. Of course, if you're in a safe environment, considering this virus, but it's totally fine to open your mouth and to relax by yawning through your mouth. So yawning is the only exception in the Buteyko rule not to breathe through your mouth. Just a second, I'm almost done. I'm trying to choose maybe the last question. Question, what happens if I breathe in, have a very long pause, then breathe out? I know this is wrong according to the method, but why? In this method, we imitate healthy breathing. Healthy breathing comes with a pause after exhalation. That's why we stop breathing after exhalation. Stopping breathing after inhalation could be helpful for some people, but we don't practice it because also for some people who have breathing difficulties, like people with asthma, for example, they could trigger breathing difficulties. And especially now, with this situation with the coronavirus, I would definitely not recommend stopping your breathing after an inhale, only after an exhale. Please do it. And the last question. I find it impossible to jog and breathe through my nose. What can I do to improve that? Well, you definitely need to start practicing the Buteyko method. Right now, your body, your muscles are much stronger than your respiratory system. Your muscles allow you to jog when your breathing doesn't. So if you jog and breathe through your mouth, you're weakening your respiratory system more and making yourself more vulnerable in this coronavirus situation. So instead of weakening your respiratory system, you need to start strengthening your breathing. And as I said, there are many ways to do it. And eventually you will be able to jog and breathe through your nose effortlessly. Dr. Buteyko used jogging or running as one of his main tools to heal people, often with very serious diseases. So, okay, if you jog every morning, just this thing alone, if it's combined with healthy breathing, could make your immune system and your overall health incredibly strong. It can increase your control pause dramatically, but you do need to learn how to breathe through your nose, how to make your breathing stronger. And of course, at the Breathing Center, we teach people how to do that. All our Buteyko Breathing Specialists work one-on-one with people, often for 2 months, helping them to change their automatic breathing patterns and establish healthy breathing, which is the foundation of overall health. There is a motto on our website, and you can see it. It says, there is no health without healthy breathing. So please start learning how to breathe healthier, how to improve your respiration and your overall health. Thank you very much for your time today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.